Alexander Alahan sacrificed his queen and win the game. So this game, they played Sicilian, e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, and Alexander Alahan played bishop e2, which is a very interesting move, right? So usually people just go d4 to get a center. This is what we call the open Sicilian. Or you can also choose the bishop b5. This is what we call the Rosso Limo, right? But bishop e2 is less popular. But the advantage of playing this move is that you can avoid a lot of different opening series. So bishop e2, black plays e6 and the castles, d6, d4, c takes d, knight takes d, knight f6, and bishop f3 was played by Alexander Alahan. So, or you can play knight c3, develop your knight to guard this e4, and we will have the so-called Scheveningen Sicilian. But bishop f3 is no worse here, and also Alexander Alahan has just set up a trap, right? So the trap is if you go bishop e7, we might just go knight c6, and after b takes c, ooh la la, you go e5. Opening up this diagonal and threatening on c6, right? So for example, d takes e, bishop c6, and we just check and win the rook. So in the game, after bishop f3, black played knight e5. Black wants to put his knight on the center and put pressure on this bishop. And here, Alexander Alahan as white played a very interesting move. So he plays c4. By the way, this is not a pawn blunder. This is not a blunder. So if you go knight c4, what is going on? Can just the black play knight c4? Is knight c4 good or bad? Yeah. Okay, so I think I needed to mute all you guys. So do you think knight c4 is good or a bad move, guys? Knight c4 good, or knight c4 bad? So what's wrong with knight c4? Darren, go ahead. Is knight c4 good?
You get fork.
Okay, yeah, knight c4 is so bad because of queen a4, right? Check and win the knight, right? So be careful about this trap. So yeah, that's why white plays c4, and the black cannot really take the pawn on c4. And after c4, this is the structure we call a Maroczy Bind, right? 马洛茨兵行 in Chinese, Maroczy Bind. So white just get a center, and white has a bigger space. And here, after c4, black played a wrong move. So black played knight takes f3. In my opinion, this is bad idea. Knight f3 is bad, right? So can somebody just tell us why this exchange is bad? It seems like this is a fair trade, right? So you just use your 3 points knight to trade off your opponent's 3 points bishop. It seems like it's a fair trade, but actually this is a bad exchange, right? So can somebody tell us why knight f3 is a bad exchange? Can I ask Mr. Bruce? Go ahead.
I think it opens the center.
Yes, this is one of the reasons, but there is still some other reasons why this knight f3 is bad. Oh, c4 is good. Come on, man, what I'm doing. So c4 is good, but knight f3 is a bad move. So yeah, there's another reason. Can I ask Mr. Emery? Yeah, so why knight f3 is bad?
Like the knight is targeting the c4 pawn. It can't take it now, but it can probably take it later.
Oh yeah, you are right.
Maybe.
Right? So the reason is why rush, right? You don't need to rush, right? You don't need to rush to take on f3. You can just keep your knight on e5, right? Developing other pieces like bishop e7, right? Following by castling, right? So I think black is fine, and you don't need to pull the trigger right now. So you can keep this possibility for later, right? So knight f3 is too rushed to trade. And by the way, this bishop on f3 is not doing much, right? So we don't need to trade it now. So in the game, knight f3, which is bad, queen takes f3, bishop e7, knight c3, castles. And here, Alexander Alahan played another move, which I like a lot, right? So definitely white needs to develop this dark square bishop, but the question is where is the best square to put our dark square bishop here? So if you were white, where do you want to put your dark square bishop? Question mark.
e3.
E3, very good, one of the best squares. Any other squares? Any other ideas? Xiaofang, go ahead.
b2.
But can you just eat your own pawn here?
No, you go b3 and then bishop b2.
You have my respect. Xiaofeng, yes, very good, right? So in the game, you can definitely go bishop e3 or bishop g5, right? But Alexander Alahan, right? So the master of attacking chess played b3, right? And then bishop b2. Why bishop on b2 is more challenging for black? Xiaofeng, go ahead.
Is it because the bishop, even though right now a lot of pieces are blocking it, but now it's like X-raying and aiming at the vulnerable G7 square.
Very good, right?
And I also have another reason why knight takes F3 is not good.
Oh, tell us, please.
But it's first of all because the knight on e5 is good and the bishop on f3 is maybe not as good as the knight. And also when you take it, you're only helping white develop a queen for free.
Wow, that's really smart, right? So yeah, Xiaofeng is talking about this position, right? So first of all, the knight is better than bishop, and second of all, after knight f3, queen takes f3. It's kind of like black is helping white's queen, right? So that's why this exchange is not that good, right? So generally speaking, trade or exchange pieces in chess only benefits the one side, either you or your opponent, right? Even this is a fair trade. For example, the knight is 3 points, the bishop is 3 points, but it's still benefits white positionally, right? So okay, very good. And here b3, even white needs to spend 2 10 pieces on this bishop, but the bishop is way more active on b2 than on e3 or g5, right? Because after we put our bishop on b2, we are aiming the king here. So b3, 97, bishop b2 was played. Bishop f6 played by black, rook ad1, and black plays a6, and white plays queen g3, queen c7, and king h1. So white makes his king safe here. And this is a preparatory move. What white wants is to play f4. But here, if you play f4 right away, actually it's not a big problem if you push your pawn to f4, right away. But this diagonal from a7 to g1 is a sort of dangerous for the king. So white play king h1 first, and then after rook d8, f4. Very good. So black plays b6 and white plays f5. Generally, usually if you want to push your pawns like this, then the e5 square is weakened, right? So because if before the pawn was on f4, the pawn is covered e5 square. But now you push your pawn to f5, then the e5 square is black's outpost. But here Alexander Alahan plays f5 for a reason, because even black will have the e5 square, but white has some combinative solution. So after f5, bishop e5 was played, and here white plays amazing idea, right? So black played bishop e5. It seems like black is attacking the queen on g3, right? So and it seems like white needs to move his queen away. But here white plays a very, very interesting move, which gives black a nightmare. So can you find the white's move here? Yeah, I think we learned this game before, right? So I think probably you still remember this. So what should the white play here? Raise your hand, guys. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. What should we play here? Okay, so go ahead. Can I ask Mr. Emery? Go ahead.
Take the pawn.
Are you sure? If you take the pawn, they will take your queen here, and you don't have this lovely sweet queen anymore.
Oh no, you just said just blunders queen.
I didn't see blunder your queen. No, I didn't. I never see that. Right? Yeah.
You basically said that by saying,
oh, okay.
You have to move the queen.
But after we sacrifice this queen, then what? We must make this sacrifice worth it, right? If it doesn't work, then we will lose the queen and we will lose the game, right? So we need to use our calculation in order to work it out, in order to find out if this sacrifice is good or bad, right? So use your calculation, guys. Use your very intelligent, smart brain to work it out, right? So is okay. So Emery just tell us FTC E6 sacrifice the G3 queen is ideal. So do you think about FTC E6 is good? Lula la. Okay, so Bruce, go ahead.
I use a knight to take e6.
Are we sure about that? Knight e6. What if pawn takes on e6? Knight takes, pawn takes. Then what?
Then pawn takes.
Oh, then the bishop takes g3. Let me just show you. Takes. Time too quiet. You don't have a queen anymore.
Then you go rook on rook
f7.
Yeah.
Move the rook into the 7th rank.
Yeah.
And putting pressure on g7 along with the bishop. Okay. But what if I just retreat my bishop to e5? And I think my king is perfectly safe, right? So, but you are right. You are right.
You go rook d. Then you go rook d8.
But we do better not to play. Listen, we do better not to play knight e6 first. So in the game, f takes e6 was the move, and black has to accept it, right? So after bishop g3, we play e takes f7 with a check, and this pawn here is really strong. So black only has 2 squares to hide his king, f8 or h8. If you go king f8, then voila, we just give a check. And guys, this is a family check, right? We are checking the king, the queen, and the rook, right? And after king here, we can just simply eat the queen here and threaten knight e5, and we win the game. So yeah, after e takes f7, black cannot really play king f8. So king h8 seems like the only square available. But here, we play, who cares about this g3 bishop? We go knight d5, right? So the d5 knight and the d4 knight, along with the f7 pawn, the f1 rook, and plus this bishop gives black a headache. So, and after knight d5, black is in big trouble. So the queen is attacked, right? And you must move your queen, otherwise you will just lose your material. But there is no good square for the queen already. So the squares available, for queen is c5. This is one, b7, a7, b8, but none of them are good. For example, queen c5, we just simply go knight e6. Not only attacking the queen, but also threatening checkmating in one, bishop g7. Right? So we just win the game. And oh, by the way, the knight is also threatening the rook on d8. So queen c5 doesn't really work, and any other squares, I believe queen b7 is a square, but still we go knight to e6, threatening bishop g7 still, and threatening knight d8 with another threat, right? And for example, if you go bishop e5, we just take this rook, threatening the queen and threatening f8. So bad for black. And queen b8, no, after queen b8, we can still go knight e6, or there is a better version, knight c6, right? Attacking the queen, attacking the rook, right? So queen c7 is not available because of d5 knight, and queen b7, knight takes, and f8, right? Yeah, so after knight d5, there is only one square we haven't analyzed yet, which is queen a7, but we can go knight c6, attacking the queen and threatening d8. Game over, right? So yeah, that's why after knight d5, black is in big trouble, right? So the queen is just died, right? So yeah, and in this game, Alexander Alahan sacrifices his queen and wins the game. Yeah, very brilliant idea. Yeah. So questions or comments about this game? Questions or comments? Emery, go ahead. 一起来看一下 Alex